Good morning everybody, unless of course you're watching this video in the evening, then in that case good evening. And today we're going to look at 1066, which happens to be the year. Welcome to the year 1066, and also welcome to Time Travel TV, which is the channel you're watching at the moment. So, 1066, first things first, who was the king in 1066? Well, the answer to that was, at the start of the year, was Edward the Confessor. Now, Edward the Confessor was a very pious man, that means he was very religious. In fact, he built Westminster Abbey, not personally, but he ordered the building, you know what I mean. Anyway, at the very start of the year he was dying, which is a great shame, for many reasons. One of the main reasons was that he didn't have an heir to the throne. No one knew who the successor would be. One of the main contenders was his only living relative, Edgar the Atheling. Another contender was Harold Godwinson, and also William, Duke of Normandy. Now, first contender, Edgar the Atheling, was his only living relative, which obviously perhaps he should be king, but the problem is that he was a 14-year-old and he sort of milled around court, making very little impression on anybody, so he may not be an ideal choice. Then there's Harold Godwinson. Now, he'd been looking after the kingdom while the king was in poor health. He would be a good choice. Or was he? Because he wasn't related to the king or any royal family. He had no royal lineage at all. Maybe not such a good choice. Then there was William, Duke of Normandy. Now, it was said that Edward had promised the throne to William, Duke of Normandy earlier on. But the problem was, William, Duke of Normandy, he was not related to the king at all. Not only that, he was French, well, he wasn't French, he was a Norman from Normandy. And not only that, he was illegitimate. They called him William the Bastard. And may I remind you, it's not swearing if I use it in the classical sense, which means he was illegitimate. So, who was going to be the next king? Well, it all came down to fate. But first of all, just before he died, he actually got a bit better. Not better enough so he survived, just better so he got a bit better. And he rose and told everybody of a story, of a dream he had, where two monks had come to him and told him that after his death, the kingdom of England will descend into war, which is very interesting because it actually did. Sorry, spoiler alert, forget I said that bit. Anyway, the only person there when he actually died was Harold Godwinson, so you can guess who was king next, because after he died, out came Harold Godwinson into the court and said, "You never guess, chaps. You never guess what the king said. The king just died and he told me that I could be king, and none of you were there to prove otherwise, so I'm the king, so bow down to me." Now, some of you might find this hard to believe. I don't know how much of it I believe, but it doesn't matter because the Saxon earls believed him. Now, the good thing with Harold Godwinson, he can put his power in different places. For instance, his brother Gurth was Earl of East Anglia, his other brother Tostig was Earl of Northumbria, although he wasn't a very good Earl of Northumbria. He overtaxed them and they rebelled, and he was eventually exiled, which made him very cross. In fact, so cross that he went to go and visit our good friend William, Duke of Normandy. And he went to William, Duke of Normandy and said, "Invade England with me and we can rule England together." And William, Duke of Normandy went, yes, I was planning on invading anyway, but that has given me a good excuse. We'll invade together. Just wait till the weather's right and my army's together and we will do it. So, tickety-boo, yes, just wait for the weather to get right. Except, then he went off to see a Norwegian, a Viking, called Harald Hardrada. Now, Hardrada is Nordic for hard ruler. Now, don't get confused here, because he is also called Harold. Remember, it's Hardrada, not Godwinson. So, Tostig went to meet Harold Hardrada, not Godwinson, and he told him that we should invade England together, which might sound odd to most of you, because he'd already spoken to William, Duke of Normandy. But he said, "Invade England with me, and your name shall live forever." Now, this excited Harold Hardrada, not Godwinson, because, you know what, Vikings, one thing they love more than looting, raping and pillaging is their names to live forever. They wanted songs to be sung about them, stories to be told about them, YouTube videos to be watched about them. I don't think YouTube was around back then, something just niggly feeling, although I reckon Harold Hardrada really would have liked it. I reckon he would have been really enjoyed that sort of thing. Anyway, it wasn't, so never mind. They agreed to also invade England together. So, now it was a waiting game. Will there be an invasion with Tostig and Hardrada, or will there be an invasion from William, Duke of Normandy and Tostig? where it gets confusing, because Tostig then invaded England all by himself. In fact, he invaded the Isle of Wight, raping, looting and pillaging. Now this naturally made Harold Godwinson, not Hardrada, very cross. So he amassed a great big army to go and stop him. And realising he was outnumbered, sorry, not Harold, I'm losing my place, there are so many Harolds. Tostig got his ships and sailed north, and then he went to York, where he met with the Northern Earls. Because he used to be Earl of Northumbria, he thought that they'll welcome him with open arms, but they didn't. And this looks like a great point. Here they come, here they come. Hang on a minute. I have put on my headgear. I purposely put this on in order not to arouse any suspicion, because you know what, if you saw me walking down the street in this, who would batter an eyelid? And here they go, and they're sitting to, and all their battle's over. It was a very short battle. Now, that didn't go too well for Tostig. No, he's retreating. No, and oh yes, just about time too. Yeah, he's retreating, and he's got very heavy casualties, and in fact he sailed his ships up north to Scotland, where he met with Harold Hardrada. In fact, they'll be meeting about now. Yeah, they're meeting about now. We're speeding time up, coincidentally, but just because we can't fit it into one video, otherwise we'll be here for years. Well, not years, 1 year, to be precise. And they met. He decided eventually that he was going to invade with Harold Hardrada. He committed. And then Harold Hardrada and Tostig invaded England together. Now, their first battle with the Northern Earls is happening about now. You wait ages for a battle, and two come along at once. Here it goes. Okay, and they're battling, and that is just out of order. Harold Hardrada is sneaking round the back of the Saxon line. Oh, dearie me. They're having the Vikings have won. Well done, Vikings. That was a close run thing. But apparently, not long after that, along comes Harold Godwinson. Now, Harold Godwinson and his brother Gurth lead their army up north. They hurtle up north very quickly at lightning speed. And, you know, invasions make them very cross, so they were quite cross. In fact, this is where the clever bit comes. What happened is that they met at a place called Stamford Bridge, which is just over there. You can't see it because the camera's pointing towards me, but take my word for it. Anyway, there was only a small bridge, and they said, we'll exchange prisoners. We'll have a small Saxon force, and we'll meet you there. Anyway, what then happened was that it turned out the whole Saxon army turned up, and the Vikings didn't have time to put their mail on. Now, mail is this. It's basically cloth made of metal, and it's really good. It's flexible. It's would save you from most sword slashes and arrows. Some arrows, they had armor-piercing arrows. It's like bullets. You have armor-piercing arrows, high-explosive arrows, except not quite high-explosive arrows, incendiary arrows. It's just like bullets. Anyway, this would save you from most things, so it was very handy. In fact, they took the Vikings by surprise so much, they didn't have time to put their mail on. Although, in fact, the battle lines are coming up. I think it's time for the helmet again. Okay, and here they go. And, yes, what Harold Hardrada's done, this is very interesting, this is that he's put a berserker on the bridge at Stamford Bridge, which is very interesting because a berserker is basically a trained madman, and they're very ferocious fighters, and they're all crazed and getting a frenzy. Just imagine how scary that would be, having a sword in somebody and they're still trying to get at you. And they can't cross. He's holding them back. He's holding the entire Saxon. That's impressive. I mean, fair's to that Viking. And now what the Saxons doing now is that they're they've cut a barrel in half and they're sailing down the river, and they've stuck a spear up between his legs. That must hurt. Dear. And they're charging across. The berserker's gone now. Oh dear, poor old chap. They're charging across the bridge now, hurtling across. And Harold Hardrada still hasn't time to put his mail on. Harold's just killed Tostig, and Hardrada's killed by an arrow. It's a bloodbath. I don't think I need this anymore. Oh dear. Yeah, the Vikings are gone. Yeah, it's a bloodbath. In fact, out of 500 ships it took the Vikings to get here, it only took 13 to take the survivors back, which is not good at all for the Vikings. And in fact, Harold Hardrada was known as the last great Viking king. After that, they were less of a world player, which is interesting on world history stage, because this really marks the end of where they look at the Vikings for inspiration, and from now onwards they really look south to France and Italy. It's really the end of the great Viking age, as some people know it. Anyway, at the very same time, in fact, no, sorry, not about the very same time, a few days later, that's right, along comes William, Duke of Normandy. Remember him? We haven't spoke about him for a while. Anyway, he invades down south. Now, this makes Harold Godwinson, not Hardrada, because Hardrada's dead. This makes Harold Godwinson very cross, because he'd been waiting down there all summer, and now he invades. Now, the thing is that the invasion of William, Duke of Normandy didn't go very well from the very start, because what happened was, as soon as he set sail, his personal ship got lost from the rest of the fleet. Then, as soon as he landed, he fell flat on his face, although he managed to bring it back by saying, "Look how I grab England," which is quite impressive for you. I don't think I'd be able to think that quickly. So what happened wasn't, Harold's laying chase to him. He's storming down with his brother Gurth, and he's going down quickly now. Yes, I don't think there'll be much more goings on up here now up north. So, what happens is, now that the events have moved slightly further away, we're out of the danger zone, his brother Gurth says, "I know, I'll take..." They've got a new secret weapon, some of these. I am in the right year, aren't I? Yes, that's alright. Anyway, didn't expect that. What happened is that his brother Gurth said, why don't I take my half of the army, move forward, take on William, and later on in the day you come and win another wave. Now, by this time, Harold was a bit, I think he was going a bit mad by this time. He wasn't thinking straight. Mad is probably not the correct word to use. He wasn't thinking straight. Anyway, what happened is that he said, "No, we'll destroy him in one big whoomph." So, the Battle of Hastings starts, and actually, with my powerful time traveller binoculars, I can see it go on. It's the Battle of Hastings, and I see. Now, the Saxons set up their shield wall. Now, shield wall works on the principle that one, we're weak, together we're strong. They interlink their shields, and, Harold's got the high ground. Oh, good. And, and the Normans are going up. Now, the Normans had a new weapon, basically called cavalry. The Saxons saw horses as something to ride to battle on. The Normans saw it as something to fight on. The Saxons would ride to battle on a horse, get off and fight. The Normans would fight on their horse. And they're charging, and they can't break the shield wall. Normans can't break the shield wall. Now, it'll be interesting to see if they break it later in the day, because if they break it, that'll be the game changer. And now, little do many of you know that time traveller binoculars have a hearings thing in it, so I can hear what's going on. Apparently there's a rumour spreading around that says that William is dead, which is very interesting, because I don't remember him dying in the history book. And it's not true, because he's just got off his horse, taken off his helmet, and said, "You recognise me." And they're rallying because they retreated, and I missed that bit. I missed, because what happened was when the rumour spread, they retreated, and oh God, what happened was the Saxons broke their shield wall and they chased them. And the shield wall's broken, and they've run down the hill. It's a mess. That hurt. His Gurth's dead. Gurth's dead. Whoops. And dear, and I see Harold, but he's in the way. Somebody got shot in the eye. I don't know who it was. It could be Harold. Was it Harold? I don't know. Oh dear. Well, some people will tell you Harold was shot in the eye. Some will tell you he was killed in other ways. I couldn't really see. It's all a bit of a blur, to be honest. Oh dear. Well, never mind. The Saxons were completely routed. So, William won the Battle of Hastings, so does that mean that William's the King of England? Right? Wrong. In fact, the Saxon Earls basically went, well, just because he's won the Battle of Hastings doesn't mean we can fight him again. So they said, we got a ready-made king. Now, many of you might not remember, but Edgar the Atheling, the 14-year-old boy, they got him to become king. Now, the problem is that being a 14-year-old boy, that makes very little impression. Anybody doing very little isn't really the qualifications required to become king. In fact, one by one, each Saxon Earl goes and bows down to William, and eventually by Christmas time, so does Edgar the Atheling. And on Christmas Day, 1066, William, Duke of Normandy, was crowned King of England. He became William the Conqueror, but that does not mean he was the first King of England. And if anybody tells you he was the first King of England, they should be put in their place. And in a later video, we'll just find out how he was who was the first King of England, rather, and what those events were. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and oh yes, perfect. Yes, well that was absolutely grand. It's still 1066, so I'll see you in 2019.